Howdy, I'm Ben Solak. It is Super Bowl week. Welcome to Play Sheet. The opening script, the matchups that will decide the Super Bowl. We've got a Super Bowl, folks. Niners, Chiefs, two of the best offensive minds, league-defining coaches, two of most aggressive defenses in the entire league, one elite quarterback, and also Brock Purdy. It's going to be a good game. I'm not here to pick on Purdy, who is a huge part of the reason why the 49ers are back to a game that they appeared in but lost 5 seasons ago to these Kansas City Chiefs. Now, both teams are dramatically different now than they were then. The Niners haven't just moved on from Jimmy Garoppolo to Brock Purdy. They've also added Christian McCaffrey, left tackle Trent Williams. There's been a huge innovation in the Kyle Shanahan offense. This is a dramatically better team than they were last time around. And the Chiefs have changed so much from that game as well. When the Niners last played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, Mahomes had just dawned on the league, right? He was the trick shot artist, the magician that access any area of the field at any time, scramble around, throw behind your back, like wizard demigod quarterback. This version of Mahomes can still achieve that, but has matured. Fine wine, Patrick Mahomes. He can take the simpler stuff, take the faster stuff, let the offense work for him, just hand the football off, throw the screens. He plays so much more within himself than he used to. Meanwhile, the Chiefs' defense has gone from somewhat occasionally good enough to downright dominant over the last few seasons, with the talent acquisition and development of such players as L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, Justin Reed in the secondary, Nick Bolton and Leo Chanel at linebacker, George Karlaftis, Charles Omenihu along the defensive line, and Noah Omenihu for this game he's injured. But in general, this defense is now one of the best ones the 49ers will have faced all season. So there's a ton to watch, and it's super exciting, and like every player on the field has a chance to be the player that wins the game. But I want to highlight 2 matchups, one when the Niners hold the ball and one when the Chiefs hold the ball, that might decide this game for the final time of the 2023 season, folks. Let's go to play action. Let's go! Shanahan is going to get up to the same old tricks and shenanigans, the Shanahan-ananigans. They're going to run a ton of condensed sets, right? No team in the league runs tighter formations than the 49ers do. They're going to do pre-snap motion at an extremely high rate, and they're also going to get yards after the catch at like a league leading rate. And if the league were like 132 teams, they would still lead the league in yards after the catch. This is the Shanahan offense, right? They do these tight formations. In the past, they've been really play action heavy, not so much this year, but still tight formations. They look like they're going to run the football. They use pre-snap motion, and then they get yards after the catch. Now, the Chiefs do have some answers to that. One of the drawbacks of running really condensed tight formations is that it becomes harder to identify which defensive players are doing what pre-snap versus like if you spread things out, it's very clear who's aligned where and where they're going to go. Remember, the Spags defense is a disguise heavy and blitz heavy defense. They want to send surprising rushers from surprising places. And when you give them condensed sets, it makes it a little easier on them to achieve that. So this is Chiefs Niners 2022. Jimmy Garoppolo under center, dark times for Niners fans. We're going to send George Kittle in motion. And it's interesting, when we send Kittle in motion, the deep safety follows him, right? Like initially it looks like deep half. Maybe we're playing zone. Maybe we're locking guys up in man coverage. Who knows? But this looks like 2 deep safeties. When we get the motion here from George Kittle, Justin Reed, the safety, follows him across. But then this safety stays deep half, which is weird. That should feel tricky, right? If this were really like a low safety going to play man, he should be working in the middle of the field. The reason he's staying here is because he's actually in man coverage over Jawan Jennings, because L'Jarius Sneed, the nickel, is coming on a rush. And Nick Bolton, the Mike, is coming on a rush. And Willie Gay, this linebacker here, is coming off a rush with the edge peeling off to take the back in coverage, right? You see this happen just before the ball snapped, right? When Kittle gets settled on this motion, the Chiefs get in position to blitz. And Jawan Jennings right down here is like, ah! He's trying to call it out, but the ball's getting snapped. What is important about the condensed formation is that if you had Debo out here and you had Jawan out here, this path for Sneed would take longer, right? He'd have to be lined up initially over here. And that would give Jimmy, firstly, a little bit more time to see it. And then also, it would just mean that Sneed is a longer path to take on the rush. And it would just take longer for him to get there, right? But because you condense this formation, it's easier for Spags to say, okay, we're going to send the nickel, and we think the nickel can get there in time, right? What ends up happening is since Sneed gets tight to the line of scrimmage, we get 2 coming off the edge, right? We get Dunlap staying outside, and then Sneed here comes inside. Dunlap ends up being the free rusher. So you got a free rusher from an initially defensive end aligned person, right? Like that's optimal. That's amazing. And so Jimmy drops back and he tries to throw this late to the back. All right, well, this is wide open, right? This is Frank Clark peeling off with Jeff Wilson. Like this is a touchdown. But because it's Jimmy, not as easy to make those throws under pressure, and it's an incomplete pass. So here we are now in a spread formation, right? And the Niners will do this a little bit in 2023 with Purdy, right? Where they will spread things out for him because they like him in the drop back passing game more than they did Jimmy Garoppolo. So we're in 3-by-1, right? And the one receiver, it's a tight split, but he's still off the line of scrimmage, right? We have a little bit more room here now to see what's going on. The problem is that if Spags can't disguise his blitzes super well, he's still going to send them, right? Like it's not an issue of like, oh, I can't disguise it now, it won't come. No, they're still going to send pressure. So this safety again is going to tell us what's going on, right? He walks over to what we call cap this 3 receiver. It like usually we see, all right, there's a receiver, and then the guy who's covering him is directly over top of him. Now all of a sudden we're going to end up with the safety also being directly over top of him, right? And what this is telling you is this safety is really the guy who's capping this receiver because that nickel's coming, right? They're bringing that slot corner. They're also bringing linebackers again as per usual. And so when we snap this, we're going to see free rusher off that left side again, right? And it's because they are sending 1 and 2. They are sending more than you can block on that side where you have no tight end and the back is over here, right? The back is away. So now we're going to get free rusher again on Jimmy Garoppolo. Here come the linebackers, +1, right? We're going to be more than you can block. And we're just going to play man coverage behind. And this is something the Chiefs this year, better than last year. This is something the Chiefs are doing where they are locking in press coverage, right? This is L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie this year, and they are just winning. Our guys are better than your guys. And they have been consistently correct up to this point at the Super Bowl. And so we're going to get +1 in the rush. And even if you can see it coming, Jimmy sees it coming the whole way, tries to buy time. We think we can force a bad throw out of you, pick on the goal line. Now, these 2 reps we looked at were with Garoppolo at quarterback. It was important to look at them structurally because this is how Spags is going to blitz this Niners offense when he blitzes them. But Garoppolo was not as good against the blitz as Purdy has been. Anybody who's been following Purdy this season knows the numbers against the blitz are amazing. According to the Next Gen Stats, Brock Purdy averages 10.4 yards per attempt against the blitz, which is first by a mile. He has 53.2 total expected points added against the blitz, which is like 22 more than second place, right? He's been cooking it. Now, Brock's been very good against the blitz, especially relative to Jimmy, because he is a good second reaction player. He can make plays outside of structure. Really fun Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan play here. The Niners love to do this year, where they, put a guy in motion, all right? Now, this formation, what are we doing, right? We got multiple tight ends. That's Kyle Juszczyk, fullback, but still, we got 2 tight ends, tight, right? Tight splits, under center, back dot in the eye. This is a run formation, right? And then Christian McCaffrey just leaves. I don't know what this is. It's empty backfield under center. I don't. It's very weird and confusing and hard on the defense's rules, and I don't fully understand it, so I'm not going to comment on it. All I know is it's really funny to see this particular picture of just a quarterback under center with no one behind him. It's like 1940. Anyway, snap the football. This ends up being a simulated pressure, right? They're going to bring these 3 down defensive linemen and then 1 more off the edge while this defensive lineman drops, right? And this right here, this is Jamal Adams, right? They're bringing a safety. This gives them an interior one-on-one, the Seahawks, and they get quick pressure on Brock, right? Right here, he gets to the top of his drop. You have your right guard lost, right? So you now have pressure coming right here. So this isn't like a Chiefs overload pressure 7 are coming, but this is still immediate pressure on the concept. Brock is going to just get out of the pocket, move to his left, and then while moving to his left, on the 20-yard line, flip his hips, and throw upfield. Take Brandon Ayuk, man. Ayuk, you want this dig, right? You're always trying to throw this dig in this offense. You can't get to here because you got coverage, right? Seattle's on it, and also you're pressured. So now outside of structure, find a second play, and not just find the receiver, throw him open, right? Look at where coverage is. In order to hit this, you can't throw this here because coverage is going to remain underneath it. You have to throw it upfield and pull him away from the defender, and that's exactly what Brock does on this throw. It's a challenging throw, man. Beautifully done. End zone view. Okay, here's your hilarious motion by Christian McCaffrey. Here comes the pressure off the right side. We get color in our face. Second reaction now. Find Brandon Ayuk. Upfield throw. Gorgeous. Explosive game. Now, that play constitutes a blitz, and it constitutes a good second reaction play from Purdy. The thing is, like, Purdy's against the blitz numbers are kind of jacked up because he sees a lot of 5-man rushes because the Niners just get a lot of 5-down defensive lines, right? They get defensive lines that are trying to stop these condensed formations and all these running plays. And so it's like 5 in the rush, but it's not really 5 in the rush. If you look at snaps on which Purdy sees at least one defensive back rusher, like a true blitz from depth, he's still quite good. He's 4th in success rate. He's 12th in EPA. But he is pressured on 50% of those dropbacks, right? This offense structurally is going to allow those blitzers to win. And that pressure number is high. Purdy's still successful because he often gets rid of the ball to athletes who can catch in space and who can run. Christian McCaffrey might have heard of him. Now, the Chiefs lead the league in unblocked pressures generated when blitzing. When they send guys, someone gets home. They're top 5 in EPA allowed when they blitz, and critically, they are the only defense that allows fewer yards after the catch over expectation when they blitz. The only defense in the league. And that's how the Niners make their hay, is that Purdy gets rid of the football and players make plays after the catch. This right here is the sort of play. You just cannot beat the 49ers if you allow this sort of play, which is funny because the Vikings allowed this play and then they beat the Niners. But it's very hard to stop the 49ers if you lose on plays like this. What are the Vikings doing? I mean, this is a clear pressure look, right? This is 1st and 10. They have so many bodies at the line of scrimmage. They think they can just live in man coverage with these big cushions and their rush will get home before you can punish them. So what do the Niners do? And do a little motion with Christian McCaffrey, and then we go RPO, right? We go, this could be a run potentially. Really, we want to throw this swing to Christian McCaffrey because now we have our best yards after the catch athlete in space, 2 blockers, 3 defenders. It's just space. It's tackling in space, right? The moment this pass is completed, if McCaffrey beats one guy, it's 6. McCaffrey usually beats one guy and it's 6, right? And so if you can blitz them and Kansas City, that's your identity. You can get after them that way, but you have to be able to make your tackles in space. So when the 49ers have the ball, it's about the way that the Chiefs blitz, those condensed formations, and the way that the 49ers try to punish them. When the Chiefs have the ball, it's a lot simpler. It's about running the daggone ball. The 49ers are not a very good run defense, and this has been true of them in seasons past, and they've obviously been very successful. But often when they lose in the postseason, they lose to teams that are willing to run the football. And maybe you're like, well, Ben, they're playing the Chiefs, right? Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are one of the most pass-happy teams in the league, whether they're leading, trailing, doesn't matter what you're doing coverage-wise, they're going to throw the football. And all that's true. But over the last couple of seasons, the Chiefs have really been investing in their offensive line. Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Joe Thuney, and they have an excellent back in Isaiah Pacheco. A huge story of the Chiefs' offense this season has been their running game. Now, in last year's Super Bowl preview, we talked about the Chiefs running multiple tight end sets, heavy personnel, 13 personnel. Look at me, I was so young then. I was so beautiful. I was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed writer I was. And they're back to it this year. They have doubled their rate of 13 personnel in the postseason relative to what they ran in the regular season. They are willing to get more blockers on the field to invest in the running game and the play-action pass game. Now, against those multiple tight end sets, and particularly against those extra blockers attached to the tackles, the 49ers will give you base defense. They'll put 4 down defensive linemen on the field and 3 linebackers. And they do this because while most teams have like 5 down fronts they can get to kind of try to gum up some of these running lanes, the 49ers are they are dedicated to being a 4 down defensive line team. And that creates easily exploitable weaknesses in the running game. The first we've seen a few times over the last couple weeks of Niners football. This is a pin pull run action. This is how you neutralize a one-speed attack aggression downfield edge rusher like the 49ers have in Nick Bosa and Chase Young. We saw this against the Packers. 1st and 10 for the Packers, pin pull action, right? We have 4 down defensive linemen, 1, 2, 3, 4. What you have to worry about as a linebacker, right? 3 linebackers right here in this defense is if they go double team, and then right now they have 2 tight ends over here and then this extra receiver. They can go double team right here if they want. And then if all of these double teams start working to the second level, right? Or if they go double team in its zone and they start getting flow this way to the second level, you have to be worried as a linebacker about this gap. These are the gaps that you're responsible for. But the Packers will also block down right here on Nick Bosa with Dontavian Wicks, wide receiver on an edge, and then they can pull this tight end, they can pull this tackle, then you get to the boundary on you. So now as a linebacker, you are responsible for this and this, but you suddenly become also responsible for this and this. You got to run and chase this. You're the second level. This conflict right here, those pulling forces in different directions, it's a huge ask on your linebackers. If you are not willing to put extra bodies down here to make these guys' jobs easier, man, they really got to be good. And Fred Warner's very good, but he is not Superman. So we're going to see with that motion, Dontavian Wicks blocking down onto Nick Bosa, 2 pullers. We get outside of Bosa. So now we don't have to worry about their defensive line's so good. We have leverage on these blocks, and we have a puller in space for Dre Greenlaw. This is pin pull and it's beautiful, and it's 10 unblocked yards before we even get into contact. Lions first drive, 4 down front, right? When you're in this 4 down front, what you are giving up as a defense is bubbles. Look at this bubble right here. Whoop. This unblocked gap between these two offensive linemen, call this a bubble. Look at the size of this bubble. Big bubble between the center and the right guard. Fred Warner's responsible for that. Dre Greenlaw's responsible for right here. What's Dre Greenlaw afraid of? Look where his eyes are. He's cross-keying. He's watching this guard because he's afraid of a polar right here, right? They double team this defensive tackle and climb to Fred, and they give this ball to David Montgomery, right? Especially if they pull Penei Sewell. They love to pull Penei Sewell. We'll meet you in the hole, Penei Sewell. So that's what you are worried about is Dre Greenlaw in this B gap. Snap the football. There's the pull. I mean, he is down right now, right? He is down. Safety is down. Chase Young is collapsing in. They are worried about that. This power run right here. This is what all of the energy is in towards. Safety's coming down. Fred Warner's got interior responsibilities. Look at Nick Bosa fast into the core of the formation, right? That's what they fear. And you just flip this thing to Jameson Williams. And now you get pullers into the boundary, right? Josh Reynolds, the wide receiver right here, was supposed to be sealing off Nick Bosa. Bosa didn't even see it because these guys play so aggressively on the defensive line. And so now you just flip this to Jameson Williams. Where are you at? You're right where Aaron Jones was. You're on the boundary with pullers. Jameson Williams is a little faster than Aaron Jones, isn't he? Look at that man go. Woo! Survive some contact. Ow! Dre Greenlaw almost to the tackle. There's your touchdown. You can get to the boundary on this 49ers defense because the linebackers have to be so aggressive downhill given their run responsibilities. Now, we know the Chiefs will do this to the 49ers with success, right? Too many offenses have already done it, but the Chiefs themselves have done it. This is against the Jets. Robert Saleh, who's the Jets head coach, is the old defensive coordinator of the 49ers. 4 down front. Everybody's in a gap, right? And then we have additional players in the second level for additional gaps. Chiefs are in 13 personnel. They really liked it this postseason. Setting the tight end in motion, snap the football, and we get pin, Rashee Rice down on the edge, and pull. Right tackle and Travis Kelce lead blocking, right? Now, the Jets actually defend this up pretty well, right? They go and they squeeze this thing back inside where the defensive help is. But Isaiah Pacheco, good little back. Bang, careen off of contact. Go get you some dirty yardage, young man. So they will pin pull this and be successful. But the Chiefs won't just say like, oh, let's get to our shenanigans, Mecole Hardman handoffs and our pin pull nonsense. No, if you want to give us a 4 down front, I mean, we will take these double teams with our interior, man. Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith. We will take these double teams until the cows come home. And we will beat you on the interior. With Isaiah Pacheco running up the middle, we will win. And they are right more often than they are wrong. This is actually duo, right? They'll run zone where it's like climb this to the second level, climb this to the second level, but this is all zone flow this way. But they're running duo here, which is weird. Usually when we see duo, which is just sit on this double team, lock this tight end to this defensive end, and then read these backers. Usually when we see this, we're either under center and the back is dotting the I, or the back is here to the same side as the tight end. You run this play to the tight end side. Like, that's how you read this out. The Chiefs work really hard on their shotgun running game, though. They've invested in it. And so they can run this with the back opposite the tight end, which is weird and like not how most teams do it, and it's cool. So the story here, though, is the double teams. That's what we're watching. Snap the football, displacement, right? We win this. And now because we have control over this double team, Pacheco has 3 potential paths, and there are 2 unblocked second-level players. Remember, for the Niners, these players play fast downhill. They're used to shooting into gaps. So now Pacheco can just read out these players and choose who he wants to make wrong, right? Wherever they don't go is where he goes. And then because it's Isaiah Pacheco, he's still up 4 yards after contact. And you rip off an explosive gain through the interior. 4 down again, tight end away from the back again, double team here. Pacheco's going to push the line of scrimmage and then read things out. Watch the way Pacheco moves the backers. Watch how he makes them wrong. It's poetry in motion, dude. It's so cool. You can see the Eagles linebackers are present in these 2 gaps, right? So you're here and you're here. As Pacheco gets this, they're going to bounce over a gap each. And Pacheco's going to push them right and then appear suddenly to the left. Like, this is just great freaking running back play, man. Open space. And then he actually goes down on first contact. Shout out Reed Blankenship, good tackle. But this is what the Chiefs can do to you. If you say, okay, we're going to be a 4 down front team, we're going to be a pass rush Mahomes team, even when we have a body for every single gap here. Listen, we're just going to win with our double teams, and our back is going to make you wrong. We have a talented and valuable player in Isaiah Pacheco. No, he's not the running back they took in the first round. No, running back is not a premium position. Patrick Mahomes is incredible. It's very silly to be talking about Isaiah Pacheco and it's the Mahomes offense. I get that. This is a great play. And it allows the Chiefs to be this underneath passing yards after the catch offense they've become because they can consistently chunk the football on the ground. Run the daggum ball, son. So who's going to win? I don't know. I got 5 more days to decide. Leave me alone. I'm leading Chiefs right now, but I don't have to pick just yet. What I do know is this. When the Niners hold the football, the blitz matchup is the one to watch for. Steve Spagnuolo against condensed sets, hiding his blitzers, playing whack-a-mole, generating free rushers, and the responses of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, the playmaker. Brock Purdy, the second reaction thrower. More than Jimmy ever was for the Niners. Can he make the big plays to beat the blitz from Spags? And when the Chiefs hold the football, it's about the running game. It's about power on the interior. It's about a predictable defensive front from San Francisco and the myriad of ways that Andy Reid can beat that schematically, pin, pull, and reverses. And the players on the field, the Jimmies and the Joes, Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Isaiah Pacheco, that interior, that core of the Chiefs running game, just winning in the middle of the field. If the Chiefs can just chunk their way down, score 7 instead of 3, and shorten this game for the Niners, they have control of it. And that'll do it for us here on the Play Sheet. Thank you so much for watching this season. We have more episodes coming, Super Bowl week. Then there's usually one per week. Not for the Super Bowl, baby. We got more. So make sure you subscribe. The new feed, Ringer NFL feed. Make sure you thank Corey McConnell for producing the episode, for running the feed, for being a great guy. And watch the next ones that come out. You got to watch them.